August sealed the lid on the plastiform trunk. She stroked her long blonde hair with her fingers and pulled it back and tied it there. She walked to the window and looked out on the horizon. In the darkness and smog of midday, the sun was losing its battle to break through. It had been losing that battle for some time now. Pedestrians sparsely walked the streets. The cautious were covered head to toe in plastifabric, while the brave and foolish wore only masks. August pulled the blinds shut, and the room scarcely grew dimmer. She stepped to the counter and wrote something down on a slip. She pulled the backing off the paper and slapped it hard onto the trunk. She stepped away, and the auto door slid open. As it whispered shut behind her, the trunk was left alone, bearing its new insignia. Specialist August Helen 3827A. Confirm load for departure. Ow! Don't be a baby. August rubbed the red spot as soon as the needle was removed. I'm 13, Joey, she calmly observed. I can be a baby if I want to. She stuck out her tongue and winked. I'm 13 too, Josephine retorted, and you're being unprofessional. Loosen up, August sighed. Even for a doctor, you're uptight. Joey twisted her finger in her black hair. Loosen up, she parodied. Oh my God, will there be boys on Centaurus? That is so not funny, August mock-shoved Joey as the two girls giggled. The auto door whispered, and Martinez strode in. Nice. Having fun, children? August wasn't pleased at his tone. Excuse me? Martinez stopped and firmed up as if slightly at attention. Sorry, he snapped. I'm just tense. August paused to display the stern look she had been practicing in the mirror as she looked him over. Inside, she was chuckling at his discomfort. Of course you're tense. Her commanding voice finally broke over the uncomfortable silence. We all are. We just deal with it in different ways. Martinez relaxed slightly. We are the last batch, he reported. All other teams are already asleep. Time to give Marty his shots, August observed, and Joey prepared them. August strolled over to the computer screen, which was showing images from outside the ship. The deep blackness of space revealed nothing but the dim lights of the stars unfathomable distances away. Don't be tense, she barely more than muttered. This ship is an incredible self-sustaining work of art. Everything has backups, and the backups have backups. And the backups have us, Joey reminded as she shoved needles into Martinez. And we have the kids to back us up, Marty pointed out with a flat tone devoid of confidence. Ah, yes, the kids. August smiled and nodded. As if on cue, the auto door whispered open to reveal a boy and a girl about 10 years of age. The girl squeezed a stuffed bear and looked afraid. I told her we're too old for that stuff. It's okay, Adam, August urged. You and Evie will both have plenty of time for maturing. No need to rush it. Inside, August couldn't help but wonder. Of course, they had been genetically screened and prepped practically from infancy, as they all had. The 50-year journey to Centaurus would be practically automated thanks to the engineering genius that had gone into this ship. The people on board were little more than genetic material for populating humanity on that world. Nevertheless, the import of the mission and the logic of having as many redundancies as possible meant that they were the most highly trained batch of progeny ever produced by mankind. You remember where the sample containers and contraceptives are, Dr. Joey interjected. Adam rolled his eyes, and Evie buried her face out of sight in the stuffed bear. Of course we do, Adam blushed. Can we please not go over that again? You'll understand more as the time grows closer, August prodded. Just remember, no children for at least 20 years, and regular samples for storage in case they're needed. I don't even want to think about Evie and I having kids, Adam shook his head, but I understand the mission. The ship echoed with a large boom and shook with slight vibration. That's the last warhead, Marty declared. The computer's voice radiated over the ship as if in response. Final acceleration warhead detonated in propulsion funnel, approaching .9 of light speed. Joey's fingers danced over a console, and the last 3 sleep chambers slid open. August and Marty joined her in climbing into their respective chambers. "Behave yourselves," August left one last command for Adam and Evie. "See you in about 50 years. As the doors to the chambers slid shut over the last 3 sleepers, Joey was counting. Sleep in 3, 2. August's eyes slowly creaked open. She tried to move, but her body didn't respond to her commands. She tried to remain calm. This was an expected side effect of being in such a deep sleep for so long. Several minutes went by. She twitched. She trembled. Little by little, she started to move. About half an hour of shifting and stretching, and August was able to sit up. Her body still felt foreign to her. Then again, it should. She had gone to sleep at the age of 13, and that was now about 50 years ago. The sleep chamber was designed to slow the metabolic rate, but even then, she should now be in her mid-20s. Aged about 10 years and asleep for 50, her mouth managed to creak out, "I'm surprised I don't feel worse." Speak for yourself. Having been isolated within herself and preoccupied with her own condition, she hadn't noticed the other 2 sleepers awake. The chambers had opened just minutes after hers. She had to look over and realize she had heard the voice of Martinez croaking across the room. His voice had changed. She realized that hers probably had too. Along with him, Joey was struggling herself into a seated position. "My left leg is so much weaker," she observed, through a crackling, whispered attempt at vocalization. They spent the next half hour slowly stretching and working every muscle they could, as they had been trained to do. Joey examined her own legs. "No wonder it's weaker. My muscles in the left are tiny." August made her way over slowly to Joey's chamber and looked. "Your caffeine and cocktail injections must have failed in that area," she observed. "You're going to have a limp for a while." "Great," Joey was flat. "Given the circumstances, though, I guess I can't complain." "Marty's worked great." Joey looked his way. "Looking quite stellar, Martinez." "Yeah, I got quite the muscles out of the deal," he joked, rubbing his defined chest and arms. "Now I just need to get used to using them." Marty coughed and sighed. "Ugh," August smiled. "Your voice is pretty deep. It'll take you longer to get used to than ours." Joey limped over to a computer console. Her fingers didn't want to dance, even though she remembered how. She hunted slowly for each command and examined the readouts on the screen. "Everyone else is still asleep," her voice struggled to say in surprise. "We're a month early waking up for some reason." "Where are the kids?" Marty interjected. "Shouldn't they be here?" "Did the equipment malfunction?" August ignored Marty at first. "And yeah, where are the kids?" "We're also off course." Joey finally captured the shock in her voice. "Wait, course was corrected several years ago, but we're off timing. We are due to arrive at Centaurus in about 48 hours. We'll have to locate Adam and Evie and find out what happened." August stretched her lips in a yawn-like gesture one last time. "We can always wake the others manually if we have to." "It could have been worse," Martinez concluded. "After 50 years of the unexpected." "It is worse," Joey exclaimed. "Computer says we are missing 2 warheads." "What?" For the first time, August panicked. "How the hell are we going to stop the ship?" "Let's get to the main control room," Marty insisted. "If the old thrusters are still working, I might be able to figure something out." "You head to the control room," August ordered. "Joey and I will look for the kids." "Should I get the computer to start waking the rest of the crew first?" Joey wondered. "No," August paused to consider her contingency training. "If something goes wrong, they're better off sleeping through it." Martinez activated the communications panel. "I found Adam, I think. He's in the main control room." A minute later, the 2 women entered the control room and found Martinez hovering over a man about 60. It was clearly Adam, but he was unconscious and drooling. His skin had turned a horrific yellow. The bottle of something was sitting on the floor beside his chair. "It's booze," Martinez exclaimed, stunned. "He's so drunk he passed out." August recognized the bottle. "The bottle's an antique," she observed. "It had barely anything left in it. It belonged to my dad. I kept it and brought it with me." You brought it with you. Joey was stunned, but she checked Adam's vitals. He'll live for now, but he's a wreck. He rummaged through your stuff and found it, Marty concluded, but he couldn't possibly. He had to have been refilling it from somewhere. They wheeled the chair containing what was left of Adam away from the controls. Martina sat down in another chair and rolled over to the console. Take him to the medroom, Joey, August instructed. We'll try to figure out things here. Adam whimpered and rolled his eyes as Dr. Joey injected him with meds. August and Martinez entered the medroom as a vibration shook gently through the ship. That's the third one, Joey observed. I've been counting, so we have it figured out. Marty has it all programmed in the navigation computer, August reported. -2 warheads. We're going to crank up the old thrusters on full reverse, skip close to the 5th planet in the system to catch its gravity. You'll end up right where you should be, Adam moaned. I was trying to get that same thing programmed, he trailed off. What happened, Adam? August demanded. Where's Evie? Adam fidgeted and started to cry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. They were stunned to see what he was and, to get over the fact that he was so much older. They knew that would be part of the mission, though. The 2 kids would grow old, adult, during the mission. If you're sorry, then tell us everything before it's too late, Joey prodded, then explained to August and Marty. I've got him drugged up, but there's nothing left of his liver, not to mention the rest of the damage. He doesn't have long. Adam choked back his tears and tried to summarize 50 years of lost history. I was bored. I rummaged through stuff. I found that bottle decades ago. I drank it. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I consulted the computer and the library. I started using the hydroponics fields and the seed supply to grow some grain and distill liquor. Evie and the kids ate emergency rations so that we could distill more and more of it. She got so angry. She hated me for it. Where is Evie? August wondered. Where are your kids? We hit a patch of space we nicknamed the Rapids, found a spatial anomaly of some kind. I used a warhead to move us away from the rapids and another to put us back on course, but then I realized Evie was gone. Adam wept. She took the kids. She took some genetic samples, emergency rations, some other equipment. She took one of the landers and left me here alone. I found calculations in the computer later. She thought the spatial anomaly was going to take her somewhere, but I couldn't determine where she thought they were going. I would get so angry when the liquor ran low. He clutched his face in his hand and whimpered. I didn't mean to hit her. I hit her a lot. They were all stunned at what Adam had become. You'd better get up here, Martinez insisted into the communications console. We're already here. August and Joey stepped through the auto door. What's going on? As we've gotten closer, I noticed something in orbit, Marty reported. It's the propulsion unit of our missing lander. Evie made it to Centaurus. August was incredulous. What are the odds? I signaled it to download its data. Marty was clearly aghast with what he had to report. The lander landed and the crew safely disembarked. Joey couldn't take the tension. And? That was about 10,000 years ago. Marty's voice went flat. Whatever that anomaly was, it shoved them backwards in time, even as it brought them here. August tried to assimilate the new information. They've been here for 10,000 years. She shook her head. Launch a probe as soon as we're within range. I want to see the surface before we wake the rest of the crew. A few hours later, the ship had settled into comfortable orbit around Centaurus, and the probe was sending back pictures and readings. There were humans everywhere, all over Centaurus, cities and civilizations. The descendants of Evie had spread, apparently having long forgotten who they were and where they came from. Great buildings challenged the limits of the dim skyline, and machinery belched out smog. In the choked, dismal atmosphere of the once pristine planet, human beings lived and worked and walked about. The cautious ones walked about covered in plastifabric from head to toe. The brave and foolish wore only masks.